Hey, Jonathan here. I've got a question from Antonio Stocheski, I think it is. And the question is, hey, Jonathan, great video. I have a question. Do you offer your clients expected measurable benefits from a strategy session? If so, how would you estimate that after the updates like redesigned website, social media updates, new text content, SEO updates, etc., the website will have X amount of traffic and then will be X amount of new leads or X amount of sales? Oftentimes my clients, and I will say business owners in general, mostly think in numbers. I would love to hear your approach. Thanks in advance. All right, good question. So a couple of things to think about here. First of all, absolutely yes. Numbers are the language of business. You want to be talking in numbers as much as possible. They can be relative numbers. They can be about intangibles, like morale increased over the past 6 months. You can tell the difference between an increase and a decrease because they know that if they know the morale is bad, they measured something to determine that the morale is bad. And if you know what they measured, then you can, if you're good at it, you can do something to change the employee morale over the course of 6 months. Remeasure it and see if you made a difference, a positive impact. So yes, numbers are super important. When it comes to testimonials, I always tell people try and get some kind of numbers from your clients. Even if they say something like the website's twice as fast now, or we can handle twice as many leads, we can scale the business up. We scaled the business up by 50%. It doesn't necessarily matter what the absolute numbers are. You just want to get some numbers into your testimonials because that is the language of business. So kudos for recognizing that, Antonio. Now the other thing is this question of upstream versus downstream. So what's the value of a strategy session? And Antonio, like almost everybody, is imagining that the value is going to be, the value that you want to measure for the strategy session is happening way downstream from the strategy. So if you're doing just strategy for a business and you want to base your value on increased sales in 12 months, there are a lot of things that you cannot control. If you're not doing all of the implementation, you're not doing all of that stuff. If you're just doing like a 2-day offsite strategy workshop with the C-suite or the upper management of a company or their board of directors, and they could screw up a million things. There could be a sex scandal with the CEO and their sales could go in the toilet. You cannot even remotely guarantee that their sales are going to go up 12 months later based on a strategy session. What you can do is guarantee that their confidence that their strategy is the correct one will go up. There's an immediate benefit from having a strategy session or a branding session or any of these upstream business activities. The right kind of clients are going to value them. Folks who don't value strategy, don't value branding, don't value marketing or any other product design, these upstream activities, if they're not valued by the client, that's not a good client for you. So the job isn't to then educate the client about the importance of strategy. The job is to find a client who already knows the value of strategy. And the value of strategy is immediate. So you could say something like, you get into a sales meeting with someone, you have an interview with them, and they say, hey, we heard good things about your work. A friend of mine recommended that we talk. Let's talk. You say, great, let's talk. So then you have the why conversation with them, and you say something along the lines of like, well, why bother hiring someone expensive like me from the outside to come in and help you with strategy? Don't you know your customers? Don't you know what they want? Don't you know what to do? Don't you know how to achieve your objectives? If they say yes to all of those things, yeah, we know how to do that, we know how to do that, we know how to do that, then they don't need you. There's not going to be a lot of value. It's probably something that you should just pass. But if they say, well, no, we don't really know that, or our confidence level is really low, then we're not sure if we're spending our money properly to achieve the objectives that we want to achieve. Our strategy is real mushy. We're just doing a lot of tactics. Feels like we might be at cross purposes. There are a lot of silos inside the company. There could be all kinds of problems where a good strategy engagement would fix things. But what are you fixing? One thing could be their confidence level. So you could say, all right, you said that you're not sure that everybody's going in the right direction. You're not sure about your strategy, or you're not even sure what the strategy is. If you had to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your confidence level with your strategy right now? What would it be? And they might say 2. And so then you'd say, okay, what if I could get that to a 5? Would that be a big deal? Would you sleep better at night? Would the board of directors be less likely to oust you? Why? You don't have to come up with the value. They will tell a client that you should work with, a client that you should give a proposal to, will be able to answer these questions. And they'll say, no, we're desperate. We need someone to come in from the outside because we've tried this internally. It's not working. We really need someone good. And my close friend recommended you. So I really think you're the right person. So, okay, great. They trust that you can do it. Now you want to find that needle that you're trying to move, because at the end of the day, you want to satisfy this customer. You want them to recommend you to the next customer. So find out from them what it is that you can change. What transformation can you make that they are going to value? Maybe it's their confidence level with the strategy. Maybe it's convincing the board that building a mobile app is a good idea, if you believe that it's a good idea. But you don't have to just sit there and be smart and think of what this is. You just ask them why they would hire someone expensive like you to come in from the outside and do this when they could just do it themselves, or all of the other ways that they could do it. They could move forward without a strategy. It's kind of like building a house without a blueprint. But some people just want to start pounding nails, and those are not your customers. You want the ones that value a blueprint. So, okay, I'll stop there. I could rant about this all day. I hope that helps. My name is Jonathan Stark, and if you have a question for me, you can hashtag AskJonathan on LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, and we will find it and add it to the queue, and I'll answer as soon as I can. Thanks.